You don't build a better life by waiting. You build it by choosing better habits, one day at a time. And that starts now. Most people go through their days on autopilot. They wake up tired. They open their phones before they even breathe. They jump from distraction to distraction, wondering why their minds feel scattered, foggy, unfocused. They feel stuck not because they lack potential, but because their habits keep pulling them back into the same loops. The same thoughts, the same emotions, the same identity. If your mindset feels heavy, it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because your daily behaviors are wiring your brain to stay where you are. Every habit you repeat is a signal. Every routine you follow is a message. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you become. That's why this matters. That's why these next minutes can shift the direction of your life. Not through magic, through mastery. The truth is simple. Your life changes the moment your habits change, not when you feel motivated, not when you get lucky, not when circumstances align, but when your daily choices finally start matching the future you say you want. If you've been feeling mentally drained, unfocused, overwhelmed, or easily discouraged, you're not broken. You're simply running mental programs that no longer serve you. Old patterns, old reactions, old beliefs. But the beautiful thing about the brain is this: it is rewritable, it is adaptable, it is waiting for new instructions. Your habits are those instructions. Every time you choose to move your body instead of scrolling, you rewrite a neural pathway. Every time you choose to finish something instead of abandoning it, you reinforce self-trust. Every time you choose silence over chaos, you strengthen clarity. Every time you choose discomfort over avoidance, you build resilience. And every time you choose a small act of growth, your mind expands its capacity to think, act, and respond differently. This audio is not entertainment. It's training, it's repetition, it's structure. And structure is what transforms you. Because motivation fades, hype disappears, feelings fluctuate, but habits shape your identity. If you give me the next 90 minutes, I will give you 10 habits that can rewire your mindset from the inside out. 10 habits that cut through mental noise. 10 habits that rebuild focus, sharpen clarity, restore discipline, lift your energy, and reset the way you see yourself. Each habit is simple, practical, actionable, not theories, not philosophy. Just daily practices that recondition your brain to think stronger, feel lighter, and move forward with confidence. Before we begin, I want you to picture something. Your future self, 1 year from now. Not the idealized, perfect version, just the version of you who stayed consistent. The you who didn't quit on day 3. The you who kept showing up even when it was boring, even when it was slow, even when no one noticed. What would that version of you look like? How would they think? How would they carry themselves? How would they respond to stress, distraction, fear, insecurity, or doubt? Because the gap between who you are and who you want to be is built on habits, brick by brick, day by day, decision by decision. Most people never change because they underestimate the power of small actions. They believe big transformation needs big effort, huge sacrifices, dramatic changes. But the truth is the opposite. Your brain changes through repetition, through consistency, through the small things you do every day, even if they feel insignificant in the moment. 1 glass of water doesn't change your health, but a daily hydration habit rewires your system. 1 focused morning doesn't transform your mind, but a daily intention ritual rewires your focus. 1 walk doesn't shift your energy, but moving your body daily rewires your mood. 1 minute of reflection doesn't create clarity, but journaling each night rewires your awareness. This is how your mindset rewires itself. Slowly, steadily, silently, beneath the surface. The roots grow long before the branches appear. The foundation strengthens long before the results show, and if you can accept that truth, not fight it, not rush it, not resent it, you can change anything. In this training, you won't be asked to do impossible things. You won't be asked to be perfect. You won't be asked to change your whole life overnight, but you will be asked to choose, to commit, to show up, and to follow through. We will move through 10 habits, each one chosen because it trains a different part of your mindset. Focus, discipline, self-trust, energy, clarity, resilience, awareness, learning, boundaries, consistency. Each habit is a small shift with a massive psychological return. Each one can be added to your day in minutes, and each one can create a noticeable difference in how you think, how you feel, and how you respond to the world around you. This is the blueprint for a stronger mind, a sharper mind, a calmer mind, a mind that works with you, not against you. As you listen, don't just absorb the words. Imagine yourself practicing them. Imagine how your days would feel with these habits in place. Imagine your confidence growing as your discipline strengthens. Imagine your stress shrinking as your clarity expands. Imagine your mindset rewiring itself into something steadier, cleaner, more powerful. Because the truth is this: your mindset isn't fixed, your patterns aren't permanent, your story isn't locked. It can all be rewritten, and it starts with your habits. So take a breath. Sit up. Listen with intention, and get ready for the first habit. Your new mindset begins now. Chapter 1. Start your morning. With intention, most people begin their mornings the same way they ended the night: rushed, distracted, reactive, and exhausted. They wake up already behind, already anxious, already mentally cluttered. Their minds don't rise with purpose. They rise into chaos, and that chaos becomes the operating system for the entire day. A morning without intention creates a mind without direction. A morning without structure creates a mind without clarity. A morning without ownership creates a mind that spends the whole day catching up instead of leading. This is the truth you must understand if you want to rewire your mindset. Your morning is the first vote you cast for who you are becoming. The moment you open your eyes, you are teaching your mind what kind of day it should expect. You are sending signals, signals of urgency, or signals of calm, signals of distraction, or signals of focus, signals of stagnation, or signals of growth. If you start your day unconsciously, you will live unconsciously. If you start your day intentionally, you will live intentionally. This is not about having the perfect morning routine. This is not about waking up at 4 a.m. or following some unrealistic checklist you found on a productivity blog. This is about something far more powerful and far more sustainable. Designing the first moments of your day so your brain knows you're in charge. Let's be honest, most people lose the day before the day even begins. They grab their phone before they even breathe. They scroll through notifications before they sit up. They check messages before they check on themselves. Their mind gets hijacked by comparison, urgency, noise, and stress. And without realizing it, they've already given their power away. This is the pain. A reactive morning creates a reactive mind. A reactive mind creates reactive choices. And reactive choices keep you stuck in the same emotional patterns for years. You know this pattern well. You've lived it. You've felt it. Those mornings where you wake up late, grab your phone, rush around, skip intention, and then wonder why your mind feels cloudy, unstable, or irritated by noon. You didn't do anything wrong. Your brain just followed the first pattern you gave it, and if you want a different life, you must give it a different pattern. Here is the core truth of this habit. Your mornings train your mind for the rest of the day. You set your priorities, you set your emotional tone, you set your mental clarity, you set your level of discipline, you set your resilience, not by thinking, not by hoping, but by action. When you start your morning with intention, you tell your brain, we choose clarity today, we choose focus today, we choose control today, we choose growth today. So what does an intentional morning actually look like? Not perfection. Not discipline forced on you by guilt. Not a ritual you can't maintain. Instead, think of it as a simple, repeatable system. One that takes only a few minutes but rewires your mindset for the entire day. Let's break it down. Step 1. Before anything else, breathe and notice. Don't rush. Don't reach. Don't react. Let your mind come online slowly, with presence. This moment teaches your brain something important. I choose awareness before action. Even 5 quiet breaths are enough. You are not your notifications. You are not your obligations. You are not your stress. You are a mind choosing its first move. This is the foundation. Step 2. Drink water and wake the body. Your brain thrives on hydration. Your energy depends on it. Most people feel morning anxiety simply because their brain is dehydrated and overstimulated. 1 glass of water, 1 stretch, 1 conscious inhale. This signals to your nervous system. We begin the day by caring for the vessel that carries us. You sharpen your thinking by resetting your physiology. This is the fastest way to get ahead of your emotions. Step 3. Set 1 clear intention for the day. Not 10, not 5. 1. Write it, say it, hold it. This is your mental anchor. Maybe your intention is focus, maybe it is patience, maybe it is discipline, maybe it is calm, maybe it is progress. But choose one and let that single intention serve as the compass that guides your decisions, reactions, and energy for the next 24 hours. Your brain loves clarity. It performs better when it knows what matters. This one practice alone can change your entire relationship with the day. Step 4. Protect your attention in the first 20 minutes. Your phone is not the enemy, but your lack of boundaries is. If you let the world in before you let your mind wake up, you lose ownership of your day. You become reactive instead of proactive. You begin to think about other people's goals instead of your own. Give yourself 20 minutes of peace. No social media. No inbox. No comparing your life to strangers. No jumping into the chaos. This is your time, your space, your reset. Protect it like your mindset depends on it, because it does. Step 5. Move your body, even for 1 minute. You don't need a workout. You don't need a gym. You don't need an hour. You need movement. Movement wakes up your brain. Movement sharpens your focus. Movement stabilizes your mood. Movement signals to your mind that you're ready to engage with the world, not hide from it. This can be stretching, walking, breathing deeply, rolling your shoulders, or stepping outside into fresh air. Just move. Your mind follows your body. Why this habit rewires your mindset? Because it changes the direction of your attention. Because it interrupts your old patterns. Because it shifts your identity from passive to active. Because it teaches your brain a new sequence of signals. You stop waking up to the world. You start waking up to yourself. Instead of reacting, you begin choosing. Instead of scrambling, you begin leading. Instead of drifting, you begin deciding. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you begin feeling grounded. This is how new neural pathways form, through consistent, meaningful micro-actions. And the best part, you don't need perfection, you just need practice. If you miss a day, you begin again. If you wake up late, you still claim 1 moment of intention. If you fall back into old patterns, you breathe and return. Your goal is not to impress anyone. Your goal is to rewire your brain, and your brain rewires through repetition. Identity shift, who you become with this habit. When you start your mornings with intention, you become someone who directs your day instead of being dragged by it. You become someone who values clarity over chaos. You become someone who acts instead of reacts. You become someone who listens to their own mind before the world interrupts it. You become someone trustworthy to yourself. And that trust is the foundation of discipline. Discipline is the foundation of consistency. Consistency is the foundation of identity. Identity is the foundation of transformation. This is why this habit matters so much. It is the first brick in who you are building. Begin with intention. Say it softly, say it clearly. Say it every morning until your mind believes it. Now that you know how to claim your morning, the next habit will teach you how to protect the single most valuable resource you have, your focus. When your focus sharpens, your entire life sharpens with it. Let's begin. Chapter 2. Protect your focus. Focus is the currency of your life. Every dream you chase, every habit you build, every part of your mindset you're trying to rewire, it all depends on your ability to focus. Because without focus, even the strongest intentions fall apart. Without focus, even the smartest plans collapse. Without focus, your mind becomes a battlefield where every notification, every distraction, every thought, and every craving fights for control. Most people never lose to lack of ability. They lose to lack of focus. You can have ambition, you can have talent, you can have motivation, you can have good intentions, but if you can't direct your attention, none of it will matter. Attention is what turns potential into progress. And this is why protecting your focus is one of the most powerful habits you can build to rewire your mindset. To understand why this habit matters, first you have to face the real pain. Your attention is being stolen every hour, every minute, every morning, every night. The world is louder than it has ever been. Everything is designed to pull at your mind. Apps, messages, updates, ads, alerts, noise, urgency, expectations. You wake up and the world is already asking for pieces of you. You check your phone for just 1 second and 30 minutes disappear. You open a message just to reply quickly, and suddenly your mind is pulled in 5 directions. You scroll for a quick break, and suddenly your entire afternoon feels heavy, unproductive, and scattered. This is the pain. A distracted mind becomes a defeated mind, and a defeated mind cannot build a strong, focused, resilient life. The truth that most people ignore is this: focus isn't something you find, it's something you protect. You don't discover focus accidentally. You don't stumble into focus by luck. You create space for it. You guard it. You design your environment to support it. You train your mind to return to it over and over again. Focus is not a personality trait. Focus is a boundary. And if you want to rewire your mindset, you must build a life where your attention is not constantly under attack. Think about your days. Think about how often your mind gets pulled away from what you actually want to do. Think about how many minutes you lose checking, switching, bouncing, refreshing, scrolling, responding, and reacting. Each small distraction may feel harmless, but they come with a heavy price. Every distraction breaks your mental rhythm, and your brain takes time to recover. Far more time than you realize. This is why you feel tired even when you haven't done much. This is why your thoughts feel foggy even when you slept well. This is why you feel behind even when you started early. This is why your mind feels unfocused even when you want to be productive. Your brain is not broken. You're not lazy. You're not unmotivated. You're simply overexposed to noise and underprotected from it. So how do you take back your focus? By building a simple system that makes distractions powerless and makes your attention powerful again. Let's break it down into practical, repeatable steps. Step 1. Turn off non-essential notifications. You don't realize how many times a day your phone steals your attention. Alerts, buzzes, pop-ups, pings. Each one slices your focus, even if you don't open it. Your brain is wired to respond to novelty. Every ping feels urgent. Every flash feels important. Every vibration feels like a demand. But 99% of these notifications are nothing more than digital noise, designed to train your brain to be reactive instead of intentional. Turn them off, all of them, except what truly matters. Your mind deserves quiet. When your phone gets quieter, your brain gets stronger. Step 2. Create one daily focus block. Just one. Not a full day. Not a full morning, not a complicated schedule. One protected block where you work without interruptions. 25 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever you can handle. A block where you step completely into the task, into the moment, into the flow. This is not about productivity. This is about identity. You're proving to your brain, we can stay with one thing, we can finish, we can follow through. Focus is a muscle, and this is how you train it. Step 3. Clean your environment before you clean your mind. You can't focus in a cluttered space. Your brain interprets visual mess as cognitive load. Every object, every item, every random thing you can see competes for your attention. You may not notice it consciously, but your brain feels it. So take 1 minute. Just one. Clear the desk. Remove what isn't needed. Set the scene for clarity. A clean environment is not just aesthetics, it is psychological strategy. When your space is calm, your mind is calm. When your mind is calm, your focus strengthens. Step 4. Protect your mornings. Your strongest focus lives in the morning, before the world has a chance to distract you, before your mind gets tired, before demands start pulling you in 10 directions. Don't give your freshest mind to your phone. Don't give your clarity to noise. Don't give your first energy to distraction. Give your morning focus to yourself, to your growth, to your goals. This single shift can change the entire architecture of your day. Step 5. Practice the art of monotasking. Your brain is not designed for multitasking. Every time you switch tasks, you lose mental energy and clarity. Monotasking is simple. Do one thing. Finish one thing. Respect one thing. Your brain will thank you for it. Your work will get better. Your thoughts will get clearer. Your stress will drop. Your discipline will rise. Doing one thing fully is far more powerful than doing 5 things halfway. Why this habit rewires your mindset? Because focus is the foundation of mental strength. When you protect your focus, you strengthen your discipline. When you strengthen your discipline, you reinforce your identity. When you reinforce your identity, you transform your mindset. Every time you choose to focus, you are teaching your brain how to stay with discomfort, how to resist impulse, how to ignore noise, and how to trust your own direction. Focus makes you calmer. Focus makes you clearer. Focus makes you more resilient. Focus makes you less reactive. Focus makes you feel capable again. You cannot build a powerful mind with scattered attention. You cannot build new habits with distracted energy. You cannot rewire your mindset if you lose the battle for your attention every single day. Protecting your focus is how you take your power back. Identity shift. Who you become with this habit. You become someone who doesn't get pulled around by noise, someone who sets boundaries without guilt, someone who works deeply and completes what they start, someone who doesn't need chaos to feel stimulated, someone whose mind feels sharp, clean, and steady, someone who respects their time and gets respected in return. Focus is more than a habit. It's a form of self-respect. Guard your focus. Simple, strong, non-negotiable. Say it again. Guard your focus. Guard your mind. Guard your path. Now that you have claimed your morning and protected your focus, the next habit will challenge you to do something uncomfortable, something that builds resilience, discipline, and mental toughness at a level few people ever reach. It's time to embrace discomfort on purpose. Let's move to Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Do one hard thing daily. There is a part of your mind that only grows when you choose discomfort, a part that remains dormant when life is too easy, too predictable, too convenient, a part that is responsible for resilience, discipline, confidence, mental toughness, identity strength, and emotional stability. Most people never meet that part of themselves, not because they lack strength, but because they avoid the very discomfort that would reveal it. This is why doing one hard thing daily is one of the most transformative habits you can build. It's not about suffering. It's not about forcing pain. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about training your nervous system to stay steady when things get uncomfortable. Because discomfort is the doorway to every meaningful upgrade in your life. When you avoid discomfort, you reinforce the belief that you are fragile. When you face discomfort, you reinforce the belief that you are capable. This is the difference between a mindset that breaks easily and a mindset that bends, adapts, and grows stronger with every challenge. But before we dive into how to build this habit, we need to start with the pain. The reality most people live with but rarely acknowledge. Most people design their lives around comfort. They wake up and avoid the cold. They avoid hard conversations. They avoid exercise. They avoid challenges, risks, opportunities that feel intimidating. They avoid tasks that demand mental effort. They avoid anything that doesn't feel immediately rewarding, pleasant, or easy. Every time they avoid discomfort, their brain learns a damaging lesson. I can't handle this. Let's escape. And over time, this becomes automatic. Avoidance becomes their identity. Comfort becomes their prison. And their world becomes smaller, weaker, more fragile. But here is the truth. Comfort kills growth. Not because comfort is bad, but because it trains your mind to associate ease with safety and effort with danger. You rewire your mindset by reversing that association. When you purposely do something uncomfortable, something slightly hard, slightly challenging, you send a powerful message to your brain. I can handle more than I thought. I am not here to hide. I can walk toward discomfort instead of away from it. That message is the beginning of strength. Doing one hard thing daily doesn't mean climbing mountains or doing extreme challenges. It means choosing one small thing that stretches you just a little more than yesterday. Something that builds tolerance. Something that builds discipline. Something that builds mental stability. Let's break this habit down into simple, practical steps. Step 1. Identify one hard thing in your day. A hard thing isn't necessarily dramatic. It isn't something that breaks you. It's something that grows you. It can be physical, emotional, mental, or practical. Taking a cold shower for 30 seconds. Going for a walk when you don't feel like it. Starting a task you've been avoiding. Finishing something you've procrastinated for weeks. Having a difficult conversation you keep postponing. Waking up without hitting snooze. Turning off your phone for 30 minutes. Saying no when you usually say yes. Reading instead of scrolling. Sitting in silence for 5 minutes instead of escaping into noise. The goal is not to suffer. The goal is to stretch. Your discomfort threshold rises when you choose challenges instead of being ambushed by them. Step 2. Do the hard thing first when possible. When you delay the hard thing, your stress grows, your anxiety grows, your resistance grows, your excuses multiply, your mind gets heavier. But when you face the hard thing early, everything else becomes easier. Because once you've done something challenging, the rest of your day feels lighter by comparison. Your brain recognizes the pattern. We did something hard. We didn't die. We didn't collapse. We didn't run. We can handle more. This is how resilience is built. Through repetition, not luck. Doing the hard thing first is not always possible, but when it is, it's one of the most powerful confidence-building strategies available. Step 3. Stay with the discomfort instead of escaping it. When things get uncomfortable, your brain activates old programs. Quit, run, hide, delay, distract, avoid. But discomfort is not danger. Discomfort is data. And if you stay with it for a few seconds, just a few seconds, you begin to see that nothing bad happens. Your heart beats, your breath shifts, your mind resists, but you overcome it. And in that moment, you're no longer the person who used to escape. You're becoming someone new, someone stronger, clearer, calmer, and more disciplined. The key is this: don't run from the feeling. Observe it. Let it rise. Let it peak. Let it pass. Discomfort is temporary. Growth is permanent. Step 4. Celebrate the micro-victory. Not with rewards, not with indulgence, not with treats. Celebrate internally, with acknowledgement. I did something difficult today. I followed through. I kept my word to myself. This small recognition releases dopamine in a meaningful way, not from distraction, but from discipline. You want your brain to associate challenge with satisfaction, not stress. When discipline feels rewarding, your identity shifts. You begin to see yourself as someone who overcomes instead of avoids, and that identity is far more powerful than motivation. Step 5. Track it. A simple list, a small journal, a notes app, a single line every day. Hard thing of the day. Tracking builds momentum. Momentum builds consistency. Consistency builds identity. This is not about checking boxes. It's about showing your brain every day we are becoming someone new. Why this habit rewires your mindset? Because discomfort is the teacher. And you can't learn strength without feeling its pressure. Every hard thing you do expands your discomfort tolerance, shrinks your fear response, makes obstacles seem smaller, builds psychological stability, strengthens your sense of control, trains your mind to push through emotional friction, helps you adapt instead of collapse. You stop seeing challenges as threats. You start seeing them as opportunities. You stop running from effort. You start walking toward growth. This is how warriors are built. This is how discipline is forged. This is how a mindset rewires itself from fragile to unbreakable. When you do one hard thing daily, you become someone dependable to yourself. And when you trust yourself to face discomfort, everything else in life becomes easier. Identity shift. Who you become with this habit. You become someone who doesn't break at the first sign of pressure. Someone who stands tall when others shrink. Someone who doesn't fear challenge. Someone who doesn't negotiate with their excuses. Someone who doesn't retreat when things get uncomfortable. Someone who takes action when others hesitate. Someone whose strength is not loud but steady. Someone who grows daily, not by chance, but by choice. Your resilience becomes your identity. Your discipline becomes your baseline. Your courage becomes your normal, and slowly, quietly, consistently, you become a different person, stronger, sharper, more grounded, more capable, more unstoppable. Discomfort is your gym. Say it when you hesitate. Say it when you want to quit. Say it when you need strength. Discomfort is your gym. Every repetition makes you stronger. Now that you've learned to do one hard thing daily, to meet discomfort, to choose challenge, to build resilience, it's time to shift into a habit that transforms how you show up in the world. You've built strength. Now it's time to build integrity. Chapter 4 is about finishing what you start and why completion rewires your confidence at the deepest level. Chapter 4. Finish what you start. There is a quiet kind of power that only appears when you finish what you start. A power that doesn't make noise, doesn't demand attention, doesn't brag, but reshapes your entire identity from the inside out. Because finishing is not about the task. Finishing is about the person you become when you refuse to abandon your commitments. Most people live in a world of half-built bridges, half-read books, half-cleaned rooms, half-written plans, half-hearted efforts, half-finished dreams. They start with excitement, but they never follow through. They begin with motivation, but they never stay long enough to grow discipline. They begin with desire, but they never complete the process long enough to see results. And over time, they train their brains to accept unfinished things as normal. This is the real pain. Every time you quit on something small, you reinforce the belief that you can't be trusted with something big. You weaken your self-image. You weaken your discipline. You weaken your momentum. You weaken your confidence. Because confidence is not born from achievement. Confidence is born from completion. When you finish, you prove something to yourself. I keep my word. I follow through. I can rely on myself. I don't stop when it gets boring. I don't collapse when it gets uncomfortable. This is the identity shift most people never experience because they quit too soon, too often, too easily. But you're here because you're rewiring your mindset, and rewiring requires completion. Rewiring requires closure. Rewiring requires the discipline to push something across the finish line. Not perfectly, but intentionally. Before we talk about how to build this habit, we need to acknowledge the painful truth. Starting feels good. Finishing feels uncomfortable. Starting is exciting. Starting is dopamine. Starting is novelty. Starting is fantasy. Finishing is different. Finishing is slow. Finishing is repetitive. Finishing is unglamorous. Finishing is disciplined. Finishing requires discomfort tolerance. This is why most people abandon their goals. They only know how to enjoy beginnings, not how to commit to endings. But if you want to rewire your mindset, you must change your relationship with finishing. Because finishing is not talent, it's training. And the more you train it, the more unstoppable you become. Let's break this habit into a practical system you can implement every day. Step 1. Choose one unfinished task and complete it today. Not 10, not 5, not even 3. Just one. You already know which one. The email you haven't sent, the message you haven't replied to, the closet you haven't organized, the work project you left hanging, the book you abandoned at chapter 4. The small task that drains your mental energy every time you remember it. Completing one unfinished thing doesn't just remove clutter. It removes cognitive weight. It frees mental space. It gives your brain a sense of closure. It builds the identity of someone who finishes. Today, you finish one thing. Tomorrow, you finish another. Slowly, your life becomes a series of completions instead of abandoned attempts. Step 2. Create a finish list, not a to-do list. To-do lists grow endlessly. Finish lists create momentum. A finish list has only 3 rules. 1. Choose tasks you will complete today. 2. No adding after you begin. 3. Every item must be finished before the day ends. This is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters, fully. Your brain thrives on clarity. Your mind thrives on completion. Your discipline thrives on boundaries. When you limit your commitments, you increase your follow-through. Step 3. Break the task into its smallest executable action. Finishing becomes easier when the task becomes smaller. You don't finish a project. You finish the first 5 minutes. You don't clean the whole room. You clean the desk. You don't read a whole book. You read 2 pages. You don't complete a habit. You take the first step. Small actions create big momentum. Small wins create big confidence. Small steps create strong identity. Your brain doesn't need the whole staircase, it just needs the next step. Step 4. Remove escape routes. The reason people quit is not lack of ability. It's the abundance of distractions that offer emotional escape. You get bored, you grab your phone, you get stuck, you scroll, you get tired, you switch tasks, you get uncomfortable, you avoid. Finishing requires closing the exits. One tab, one task, one focus, one direction. When you limit your options, your commitment becomes stronger. When you limit your distractions, your clarity becomes sharper. Your environment should support your follow-through, not sabotage it. Step 5. Stop negotiating with your mind. Your mind will always offer you a way out. That's enough for today. You can do it tomorrow. This doesn't really matter. You're tired. You've done enough. But discipline begins when negotiation ends. Finishing requires one simple internal command. We're not done yet. Not with anger, not with pressure, not with punishment. Just a calm, steady, clear decision. The moment you stop negotiating, you start leading. Why this habit rewires your mindset? Because finishing is identity. Every completion sends a message to your brain. I am the kind of person who follows through. Every time you finish, you strengthen the circuits responsible for discipline, focus, resilience, and self-trust. Your mind becomes wired for closure instead of drift. Decisions become easier. Commitments feel lighter. Tasks feel more manageable. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You stop procrastinating as often. You stop doubting yourself. You stop hiding behind excuses. Finishing teaches your brain that you're capable of more than you think. Not through hype, but through evidence. Momentum grows from completion. Confidence grows from completion. Identity grows from completion, and identity is what rewires mindset at the deepest level. When your brain believes you keep your promises, your entire life begins to shift. Identity shift, who you become with this habit. You become someone who can be counted on, someone who respects their time, someone who respects their commitments, someone who doesn't disappear halfway through the process, someone who builds trust with themselves, someone who finishes, not because it's easy, but because it's who they are. Finishing becomes your signature. Completion becomes your normal. Follow-through becomes your foundation. When you finish what you start, you step into a version of yourself that is powerful, disciplined, reliable, and grounded. And that version of you will take you further than motivation ever will. Finish what you start. Say it early. Say it often. Say it when you hesitate. Say it when you want to quit. Say it until your actions match your identity. Finish what you start. Finish what you start. Finish what you start. Now that you've learned the power of finishing, the discipline, the identity shift, the rewiring of self-trust, it's time to confront another habit that silently shapes your mindset every day. A habit that determines whether you grow or stagnate. A habit that decides whether your mind expands or shrinks. In Chapter 5, you will discover why consuming less and creating more is the key to reclaiming mental energy, purpose, and clarity. Chapter 5. Consume less, create more. Your mind becomes what you feed it. Your identity becomes what you practice. Your life becomes what you choose to build. And this is why the habit of consuming less and creating more is one of the most powerful levers for rewiring your mindset. Because your brain is not just shaped by what you think. It is shaped by what you do, what you express, and what you produce. Most people spend their lives consuming. They consume information, entertainment, opinions, noise, distractions, trends, updates, stories, and drama. They consume far more than their mind can process, and far more than their lives can benefit from. And slowly, without noticing, they slip into mental overload. Information becomes clutter. Inspiration becomes comparison. Entertainment becomes escape. Consumption becomes addiction. And the saddest part? The more people consume, the less they create, the less they express, the less they build, the less they grow. This is the pain. You cannot think clearly when you drown your mind in noise. You cannot find direction when you bury yourself under endless input. You cannot feel confident when you constantly compare your life to others. You cannot build discipline when your mind is overstimulated and underutilized. people consume because consuming is easy. It requires nothing from you, no effort, no courage, no risk. You scroll, you watch, you read, you comment, you drift. You disappear into other people's creativity instead of using your own. But here is the truth you must face if you want to rewire your mindset. Creation rewires your brain. Consumption numbs it. When you create, even something small, you activate energy, focus, intention, identity, confidence, and clarity. When you create, you step into a life where you are the producer, not the spectator. When you create, you're using your mind to generate value instead of absorbing noise. You don't need to be an artist. You don't need to be a writer. You don't need to be a filmmaker, musician, designer, or inventor. Creation simply means producing something that moves your life forward instead of letting your life fade into someone else's feed. Creating can be writing one paragraph, recording one idea, building one step of a project, solving one problem, improving one skill, organizing one space, planning one goal, learning one technique, making something slightly better than yesterday. Creation is progress. Consumption is pause. And progress, even tiny progress, rewires your brain faster than any amount of passive information ever will. Let's break this habit into a practical framework you can apply every single day. Step 1. Set a daily consumption limit. Don't eliminate consumption. Refine it. You still need inspiration. You still need information. You still need entertainment. But you do not need hours of it. You do not need constant stimulation. You do not need a stream of content overwhelming your nervous system. Give yourself a limit. 30 minutes of intentional consumption. Not autopilot, not doom scrolling, not algorithm chasing. Intentional input only. Your mind needs space to breathe. Your ideas need room to grow. Your creativity needs silence. Set the limit and honor it. Step 2. Replace one consumption block with one creation block. If you scroll for 20 minutes, convert 20 minutes into creation. If you binge for an hour, convert an hour into creation. If you drift on social media, redirect that time into building something that matters. Creation doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be impressive. It just needs to be yours. Here is your shift. Every time you catch yourself consuming mindlessly, ask, what can I create instead? Write something, build something, organize something, plan something, practice something, express something. Every moment of creation strengthens your mindset. Every moment of consumption weakens it, unless it serves your growth. Step 3. Keep your creations small, simple, and sustainable. Most people don't create because they expect too much from themselves. They think creation must be meaningful, revolutionary, perfect, or high quality. That pressure kills action. Your creations can be tiny: a one-sentence journal entry, a rough sketch, a short voice note, a simple solution, a cleaned drawer, a micro step of a project, a single insight captured, one paragraph written. Small creation builds large identity. Start small, repeat often, let consistency build greatness. Step 4. Reduce digital noise, increase real-world engagement. Most consumption is digital. Most distraction is digital. Most comparison is digital. Most emotional exhaustion comes from digital overload. But creation is often physical: a clean room, a planned day, a handwritten idea, a walk that clears your thinking, a conversation that improves your understanding, a project that gets one step closer to completion. You rewire your brain when you engage with the real world instead of escaping into the digital world. Cut the noise, create space, let silence return, let clarity rise. Step 5. Celebrate effort, not outcome. Creation is a habit, not a performance. You don't need your creation to be impressive. You don't need it to be perfect. You don't need anyone to validate it. You only need to show up. Celebrate effort. I built something today. I contributed something today. I grew today. I acted today. I chose intention today. Every time you celebrate effort, you reinforce the identity of a creator, someone who engages with their life instead of drifting through it. Effort rewires your mindset more than results ever will. Why this habit rewires your mindset? Because creation is active, consumption is passive, and your brain changes more when you act than when you observe. Creating shifts you into forward motion. It strengthens your neural pathways for discipline. It builds cognitive confidence. It reduces anxiety by giving your mind direction. It reduces comparison by anchoring you in your own progress. It creates pride, momentum, clarity, and purpose. Creation transforms you because it forces your brain to organize thoughts, solve problems, and express ideas, all of which stimulate growth. Consumption, when unchecked, does the opposite. It floods your brain without giving it space to process. It overstimulates your dopamine system. It weakens your ability to focus. It discourages you through comparison. It turns your mind into a warehouse instead of a workshop. If you want to feel better, think better, act better, and grow faster, creation must become a core part of your daily life. Identity shift who you become with this habit. You become someone who produces instead of drifts, someone who builds instead of watches, someone who contributes instead of hides, someone who creates clarity instead of seeking escape, someone who uses their mind intentionally instead of passively, someone who shapes their world instead of consuming someone else's, someone who grows daily, not by accident, but by choice. Creation strengthens identity. Identity strengthens discipline. Discipline strengthens mindset. This is how you rewire yourself from the inside out. Build, don't browse. Say it when you open your phone. Say it when you reach for distraction. Say it when you feel stuck. Say it when you need momentum. Build, don't browse. One action at a time. Now that you understand how consumption drains your energy and creation fuels your growth, it's time for a habit that unlocks one of the most powerful shifts in your mindset: the relationship between your body and your mind. In Chapter 6, we dive into the habit that recharges your energy, boosts your clarity, stabilizes your mood, and sharpens your thinking, all through something incredibly simple. Move your body daily. Chapter 6. Move your body daily. Your body is not separate from your mind. Your thoughts, your emotions, your focus, your discipline, your clarity, they are all deeply connected to the state of your physical energy. You cannot build a strong mindset with a weak body. You cannot create mental clarity when your nervous system is stagnant. You cannot expect emotional stability when your physiology is depleted. Movement is not just exercise. Movement is mental rewiring. Every time you move your body, you send a powerful signal to your brain. We're alive. We're capable. We're in motion. We choose growth. Movement wakes up the mind. Movement sharpens focus. Movement stabilizes mood. Movement strengthens discipline. Movement builds momentum. And yet, most people treat movement as optional. They wait for motivation. They wait for the right time. They wait for energy. They wait for a perfect routine. And because they wait, they never move. And because they never move, their mind slowly loses its sharpness, clarity, and confidence. Let's begin with the pain, because you've felt it, and you know it well. Most people live inside a body that feels heavy, tired, tense, tight, sluggish, or unfocused. They wake up groggy. They sit for hours. They are surrounded by stimulation but deprived of natural energy. Their mind wants to work, but their body isn't supporting it. Their brain wants clarity, but their physiology creates fog. Their emotions want balance, but their nervous system is underpowered. This is the pain. When your body doesn't move, your mind cannot move either. You think slower, you react faster, you get irritated more easily, you lack emotional tolerance, you feel overwhelmed sooner. You get stuck in loops of overthinking. You lose the spark that makes life feel vivid and alive. The biggest misconception people have about movement is thinking it's optional, something you do only when you have time, energy, or motivation. But if your goal is to rewire your mindset, movement is not optional. Movement is medicine. Movement is fuel. Movement is clarity. Here is the truth most people never realize. Energy is not something you wait for. Energy is something you create. You don't need to push your body to extremes. You don't need long workouts or heavy training. You don't need access to a gym or equipment. You don't need an athletic background. You only need consistent movement, daily movement, intentional movement. Because when your body moves, your brain fires. When your heart rate rises, your mind activates. When your muscles engage, your thoughts sharpen. When your circulation increases, your emotions stabilize. This is not motivation. This is biology. Let's break this habit into simple, practical steps that anyone can follow. Step 1. Start with a 5-minute rule. Most people fail at fitness routines because they set unrealistic expectations. They attempt to start too big, too fast, too intensely, and then quit. The key is not intensity, the key is repetition. Make it nearly impossible to fail. 5 minutes, that's it. Walk for 5 minutes. Stretch for 5 minutes. Do light exercises for 5 minutes. Move your body in any simple way for 5 minutes. Consistency before intensity. Identity before achievement. These 5 minutes are not about fitness. They're about rewiring your brain to expect movement, not resistance. Step 2. Choose a type of movement that feels natural. Movement should match your lifestyle, your personality, your environment, and your current level of fitness. Don't copy routines that don't fit your life. Here are options that require no equipment and no special skills. A brisk walk, light stretching mobility, exercises, dancing bodyweight training, yoga, simple flow movements, climbing stairs, morning activation routines. Short posture resets throughout the day. The best movement is the one you can do every day, not the one that looks impressive for a week. Choose a movement that feels good. Choose a movement that feels doable. Choose a movement that fits your life. When movement feels natural, consistency becomes effortless. Step 3. Move early to set your mental tone. Your morning is the most powerful moment for movement, not because morning workouts burn more calories, but because they prime your brain for the entire day. Movement in the morning wakes up your nervous system, clears mental fog, boosts cognitive performance, reduces stress reactivity, improves emotional tolerance, sharpens focus and discipline. It doesn't need to be long. 30 seconds of stretching, deep breaths, shoulder rolls, a quick walk, anything that wakes the body. If you move early, your thoughts follow. Your mind becomes lighter. Your attitude becomes stronger. Your day becomes smoother. Step 4. Break long sitting patterns with micro movements. Sitting for hours might be normal, but it is not harmless. Long periods of stillness drain your energy, tighten your muscles, lower your mood, reduce your clarity, and confuse your body's natural rhythms. Every hour, stand up. Stretch. Rotate your neck. Roll your shoulders. Open your chest. Take a few steps. Reset your posture. These micro movements are tiny but powerful. They keep your body awake and your mind alert. They prevent mental fatigue and protect your productivity. Movement doesn't need to be dramatic to be effective. It only needs to be consistent. Step 5. Use movement to reset your emotions. When you feel stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, irritated, or stuck, your body is speaking. And the fastest way to reset your emotional state is to reset your physiology. Walk outside, shake out your arms, stretch your back, breathe deeply, change your posture. Your emotions follow your body. If you stay still while your mind is overwhelmed, the overwhelm grows. If you move your body, the overwhelm dissolves. This is emotional regulation through physical action. Movement is therapy. Movement is grounding. Movement is release. Why this habit rewires your mindset? Because your mindset is not just mental. It is physical. It lives inside your nervous system, your energy, your breath, your circulation, your posture, your muscle tension, and your overall vitality. Movement rewires your mindset because it increases dopamine in a healthy way, it stabilizes serotonin, it reduces cortisol, it increases oxygen to the brain, it stimulates neuroplasticity, it improves cognitive performance, it increases emotional resilience. It enhances motivation, it builds discipline, it strengthens identity. Movement teaches your brain that you are not passive. You are active. You are not stuck. You are capable. You are not fragile. You are strong. You are not collapsing. You are rising. This is not about workouts. This is about self-leadership. Identity shift: who you become with this habit. You become someone who creates their own energy, someone who takes ownership of their physical state, someone who doesn't wait for motivation, but generates it, someone who feels clearer, sharper, calmer, and stronger, someone whose mind feels alive because their body is alive, someone who moves through life with intention, not stagnation. Movement becomes your anchor, your foundation, your baseline, your identity. You become someone who moves daily, not because you have to, but because it makes you better in every way. Move to think better. Say it when you feel tired. Say it when you feel stuck. Say it when you want clarity. Say it when your emotions get heavy. Say it when your mind loses focus. Move to think better. Move to feel better. Move to live better. Now that you've reclaimed your energy and stabilized your mental clarity through movement, it's time to turn inward, into the habit that strengthens emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and inner peace. In Chapter 7, you will learn how reflective writing, even for a few minutes, can quiet your mind, reveal your patterns, and reshape your inner dialogue. Chapter 7. Journal to understand yourself. Your mind speaks all day, but most people never stop long enough to actually hear what it's saying. They move from task to task, from thought to thought, from emotion to emotion, without ever pausing to observe what's happening inside. They don't slow down long enough to notice their fears, their triggers, their desires, their patterns, their beliefs, or the stories they have been telling themselves for years. And because they never look inward, they stay strangers to themselves. This is why journaling, even just a few minutes of intentional writing, is one of the most powerful habits for rewiring your mindset. Not because writing itself is magical, but because awareness is the foundation of transformation, and journaling is the most direct path to awareness. You cannot change what you cannot see. You cannot improve what you cannot name. You cannot control what you cannot understand. Most people don't lack discipline, they lack clarity. Most people don't lack motivation, they lack self-awareness. Most people don't lack direction, they lack the ability to hear their own internal signals. Before we talk about journaling as a daily practice, let's begin with the pain. The truth most people avoid. Most people live in mental chaos. Their thoughts run fast, but without structure. Their emotions spike quickly, but without understanding. Their reactions feel automatic, but not intentional. Their decisions feel impulsive, not grounded. Their inner world feels loud, but not organized. They don't know why they get triggered. They don't know why they repeat the same mistakes. They don't know why certain fears keep showing up. They don't know why certain patterns keep looping. They don't know why certain emotions keep returning. And they think this confusion is normal. They think this chaos is part of life. But really, it's the result of unprocessed thoughts and unexamined emotions. Your mind is not the enemy. Your mind is simply full of things you haven't made space to understand. When you don't pause to reflect, your emotions drive your decisions. When you don't clarify your thoughts, your fears shape your choices. When you don't sort through your patterns, your past dictates your future. This is the pain. Confusion isn't weakness. It's a signal that you need reflection. And the truth that most people never realize is this. Journaling is not about writing. It's about thinking clearly. You don't write to look poetic. You don't write to impress anyone. You don't write to keep perfect sentences. You don't write to record your day like a diary. You write to understand. You write to observe. You write to organize your inner world. You write to create space between your emotions and your identity. Journaling is the fastest way to see what your mind has been trying to tell you. Let's break this habit into a system you can apply every day. Step 1. Ask the 3 clarity questions. Journaling is powerful because it forces your mind to slow down long enough to examine itself. But you don't need long sessions, deep essays, or complex prompts. Start simple. Every day, answer these 3 questions. 1. What am I avoiding? Avoidance reveals fear. Avoidance reveals truth. Avoidance reveals growth opportunities. Every time you name what you're avoiding, you weaken its power. 2. What do I want right now? Desire shows direction. Your mind always knows the next step, even when your life feels chaotic. Writing it down gives the desire shape and clarity. 3. What do I need to let go of? Because holding on to old fears, old stories, old mistakes, and old versions of yourself is the fastest way to stay stuck. Letting go is not forgetting. It's freeing mental space. These 3 questions create awareness, calm, and alignment. They form the foundation of self-understanding. Step 2. Write without judgment. Most people struggle with journaling because they try to write correctly. They try to impress themselves with thoughtful sentences. They try to organize their writing like an essay. They try to make it perfect, but journaling is not literature. Journaling is honesty. Messy is allowed. Chaotic is allowed. Incomplete is allowed. Emotional is allowed. Contradictory is allowed. Raw is allowed. You're not writing to be read. You're writing to be understood. Your journal is the one place where you don't need to perform. You only need to reveal. Step 3. Keep it short but consistent. You don't need 30 minutes. You don't need multiple pages. You don't even need full sentences. You need consistency. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes at most. Enough time to check in with your mind. Enough time to organize your thoughts. Enough time to release emotional weight. A short daily reflection rewires your brain far more effectively than a long session once a week. Consistency builds clarity. Clarity builds confidence. Confidence builds identity. Step 4. Use journaling to regulate your emotions. When your emotions rise, anxiety, frustration, sadness, overwhelm, fear, your instinct will be to escape or distract. But journaling gives you a healthier, more powerful alternative. Put your emotions on paper, not to suppress them, not to ignore them, not to fight them, but to understand them. When you write your feelings down, they lose intensity. Emotions shrink when they are expressed clearly. Thoughts soften when they are placed in front of you instead of swirling inside you. You take the emotion from the mind and move it to the page, and that act alone creates separation, control, and relief. This is emotional regulation. This is cognitive clarity. This is inner leadership. Step 5. Review your patterns weekly. Daily entries are for clarity. Weekly reviews are for transformation. Once a week, read through your entries with curiosity, not judgment. Look for patterns. What emotions show up repeatedly? What fears echo the loudest? What desires keep returning? What triggers appear again and again? What habits help you? What habits drain you? What thoughts keep looping? What beliefs feel outdated? Patterns reveal the truth, the real architecture of your mindset. You cannot rewire what you cannot identify. And when you see your patterns clearly, change becomes easier, faster, and far more sustainable. Why this habit rewires your mindset? Because journaling turns the unconscious into the conscious. It transforms noise into clarity, chaos into structure, emotion into understanding, reaction into choice. Journaling rewires your mindset by reducing mental clutter, improving emotional awareness, increasing decision-making clarity, building self-trust, strengthening discipline, deepening focus. Revealing blind spots, helping you break recurring cycles. Letting you release what you've been carrying. Recovering your ability to think cleanly and calmly. Journaling doesn't change your life by itself. It changes you, and you change your life. This is inner work. This is mental training. This is psychological alignment. This is how you create a mind that leads rather than reacts. Identity shift, who you become with this habit. You become someone who understands themselves deeply. Someone who doesn't fear their thoughts. Someone who doesn't run from emotions. Someone who faces their internal world with clarity instead of avoidance. Someone who makes decisions consciously, not impulsively. Someone who sees their patterns early and redirects them wisely. Someone grounded, aware, present, and steady. You become someone who can look inward without breaking, because you've built the skill of inner clarity. Write to see clearly. Say it before you journal. Say it when your mind feels heavy. Say it when you feel overwhelmed. Say it when emotions rise. Write to see clearly. Write to understand. Write to grow. Now that you've learned to clear your inner world through journaling, it's time to build the habit that ensures your mind keeps evolving. Not just emotionally, but intellectually. In Chapter 8, you'll learn why learning one useful thing every day reshapes your confidence, expands your thinking, and accelerates your personal evolution. Chapter 8. Learn one useful thing. Every day, your mind is the most powerful tool you own. But like any tool, it dulls when it is neglected, and it sharpens when it is used. Growth doesn't happen by accident. Strength doesn't happen by luck. Clarity doesn't happen by chance. You become stronger because you choose to feed your mind the right things, consistently, intentionally, daily. This is why learning one useful thing every day is a habit that rewires your mindset at a deeper level than almost anything else. It's small enough that you can do it consistently. It's simple enough that it doesn't overwhelm you, but it's powerful enough that it changes your perspective, your confidence, your thinking, and your identity over time. Learning isn't about collecting information. It's about upgrading the way your mind works. Because every useful thing you learn becomes a tool you can use in decision-making, problem-solving, emotional regulation, communication, discipline, and growth. Before we build this habit, we must start with the pain, the reality that keeps most people stuck. Most people stop learning after school. They move through life repeating the same thoughts, the same behaviors, the same emotional reactions, the same mistakes, the same interpretations of the world. Their minds grow older, but not wiser. Their experiences increase, but their understanding does not. They feel stuck because their thinking is stuck. They feel limited because their mindset is limited. They feel unconfident because they haven't fed their mind anything new in years. And here's the real pain. When you stop learning, life becomes heavier because your mind has no new tools to handle its challenges. Without learning, small problems feel big. Without learning, fear grows faster. Without learning, perspective shrinks. Without learning, you rely only on emotion, not wisdom. Without learning, you repeat cycles that you could have escaped long ago. Your mind wants to grow. Your mind wants expansion. Your mind wants challenge, curiosity, stimulation, insight. And when you don't give it that, it withers. But here is the truth that rewires everything. You don't need hours of studying. You don't need complex content. You don't need a teacher. You only need one useful insight a day. One idea, one lesson, one strategy, one perspective, one question, one piece of clarity. One useful thing a day won't change your life in a week, but it will change your mind permanently. Let's break this habit into a simple, practical system that fits easily into your daily routine. Step 1. Define what useful means for you. Useful does not mean complicated. Useful does not mean academic. Useful does not mean impressive. Useful simply means, this helps me think better, live better, or become better. A useful thing can be a mindset principle, a mental model, a psychological insight, a productivity technique, a life lesson, a financial tip, a communication strategy, a health or wellness insight, an emotional regulation tool. A single sentence that shifts your perspective. You're not learning for entertainment, you are learning for evolution. Once you understand this, your mind becomes hungry again for the right things. Step 2. Keep your daily learning session small. The reason most people don't learn consistently is because they aim too big. I'll read an hour every night. I'll take a full course this month. I'll study for 2 hours on weekends. And then life gets busy. Motivation fades or fatigue kicks in, and the habit dies. Small learning is better than no learning. 5 pages, 10 minutes, one short video, one idea written down, one paragraph from a book, one insight from a podcast, one note from a mentor. Your brain doesn't need quantity, it needs consistency. Daily learning builds intellectual momentum, and momentum makes growth effortless. Step 3. Capture your insight in a simple system. Learning without remembering creates no change. Learning without applying creates no transformation. Every day, write down the one useful thing you learned, just one, in a notebook, a notes app, or a journal. A simple entry. Today's insight. Why it matters, how I will use it. This process turns information into understanding and understanding into practical wisdom. This is how your mindset expands. Not through what you consume, but through what you record and apply. Step 4. Connect your learning to real life. The most important question you can ask yourself after learning something is, where in my life can I use this? This single question transforms abstract knowledge into practical growth. Learn a communication technique. Use it in your next conversation. Learn a mindset principle. Apply it during your next challenge. Learn a productivity tip. Test it tomorrow morning. Learn a financial insight. Implement it in your budgeting. Learn an emotional tool. Use it when stress rises. Your brain changes when you apply, not when you read. Step 5. Build curiosity instead of pressure. Don't turn learning into a chore. Turn it into exploration. Be curious. Follow your interests. Dive into topics that excite you. Let your learning shape your identity, not your ego. Curiosity makes learning fun. Curiosity keeps learning sustainable. Curiosity rewires your mindset far faster than discipline alone. Your brain loves novelty when it is chosen, not forced. Why this habit rewires your mindset. Because learning shifts the entire structure of your thinking. It sharpens your intelligence, it strengthens your emotional stability, it builds confidence, it expands your mental flexibility, it reduces stress by giving you more tools to handle life. It widens your perspective so problems feel smaller. It deepens your understanding of yourself and others. It breaks the cycles that confusion and ignorance create. Learning one useful thing every day increases neuroplasticity, improves memory, boosts creativity, strengthens decision-making, enhances problem-solving, builds long-term self-trust. You don't become wise by age. You become wise by learning. And learning daily is how you create a mind that is resilient, grounded, adaptable, and powerful. This habit rewires your mindset because it ensures that you never stop growing, never stop evolving, never stop expanding your world. A growing mind is a strong mind. A strong mind is a stable mind. A stable mind is an unstoppable life. Identity shift: who you become with this habit. You become someone who values growth, someone who sees the world with curiosity instead of fear, someone who evolves every single day, someone who thinks deeper, clearer, and smarter, someone who has tools instead of confusion, someone who responds with wisdom instead of reactivity, someone who invests in themselves consistently, someone who outgrows their old limitations. Your identity becomes: I learn something every day. I grow every day. I evolve every day. When learning becomes who you are, improvement becomes automatic. Learn daily. Say it every morning. Say it before you open a book. Say it when your mind feels dull. Say it when you feel stuck. Learn daily, not for perfection, but for evolution. Now that your mind is expanding through daily learning, it's time to confront a habit that protects that growth from being drained. In Chapter 9, you'll discover the power of cutting what drains your energy. The people, the habits, the distractions, and the patterns that quietly weaken your mindset. Chapter 9. Cut what drains your energy. Your energy is your life force, your mindset, your discipline, your confidence, your focus, your emotional stability. Every part of your inner world depends on the strength of your energy. When your energy is high, life feels manageable, challenges feel smaller, progress feels possible, discipline feels doable. But when your energy is drained, everything becomes heavier. Even simple tasks feel overwhelming. Energy is not just physical. Energy is emotional. Energy is mental. Energy is spiritual. And the habit of cutting what drains your energy is one of the most important steps you can take to rewire your mindset. Because no matter how many positive habits you build, if your life is full of hidden leaks, you'll always feel tired, stuck, and behind. Before we talk about how to protect your energy, we must acknowledge the pain that most people deny. Most people are exhausted. Not because they do too much, but because they tolerate too much. They tolerate draining relationships. They tolerate draining habits. They tolerate draining environments. They tolerate draining thoughts. They tolerate draining obligations. They tolerate draining digital noise. They tolerate draining routines. They let everything and everyone pull from them without pausing long enough to ask, is this worth my energy? This is the pain. Your energy is being stolen by things you don't even like, want, or need. Not because your life is hard, but because your boundaries are weak. Not because you lack potential, but because you lack protection. Not because you're tired, but because you're leaking energy in places that don't deserve it. You cannot build a strong mind inside a life full of energy thieves. Here is the truth you must accept if you want to rewire your mindset. Your energy determines your thinking, and your thinking determines your life. When your energy is high, you think clearly, you respond calmly, you choose wisely, you move intentionally, you show discipline, you follow through, you feel grounded. When your energy is low, you overthink everything, you react emotionally, you avoid challenges, you lose motivation, you procrastinate, You doubt yourself. You feel overwhelmed. Protecting your energy is not optional. It is essential. Let's break this habit into a system that removes what drains you and strengthens what fuels you. Step 1. Identify your energy leaks. You cannot cut what you cannot see. Spend a few minutes writing down everything that drains you, big or small. Consider people who leaves you feeling anxious, tense, drained, or irritated. Habits. What behaviors steal your time, focus, and peace? Digital noise. Which apps, notifications, or platforms leave your mind cluttered? Clutter. What physical environments weigh on you instead of supporting you? Thoughts. Which mental loops keep you stuck or stressed? Responsibilities. What obligations no longer align with your values or goals? Be honest. Awareness is the first act of self-respect. Step 2. Remove 3 small drains immediately. Don't start big. Start manageable. Small drains include a toxic group chat, a messy corner of your room, a draining social media account, a useless subscription, an obligation you no longer want, a habit that wastes your mornings, an app that steals your attention. Removing small drains builds momentum. Momentum builds clarity. Clarity builds confidence. This is how you train your brain to expect alignment, not exhaustion. Step 3. Set one non-negotiable boundary. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They're about protecting yourself. Choose one place where you'll stop leaking energy. Stop answering messages instantly. Stop saying yes automatically. Stop absorbing other people's emotions. Stop letting certain topics drain you. Stop offering your time freely. Stop overcommitting. Stop being available 24/7. A boundary is simply a rule you create to protect your inner world. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to defend it. You just need to honor it. Step 4. Create a minimum energy standard. Your life should be built around what strengthens you, not what drains you. Set rules like, I don't stay in conversations that disrespect me. I don't spend time with people who constantly complain. I don't engage in arguments that go nowhere. I don't participate in habits that make me weak. I don't spend hours doing things that leave me anxious. I don't tolerate environments that suffocate my clarity. This standard rewires your identity. Suddenly, you don't see yourself as someone who puts up with things. You see yourself as someone who protects their mind like it matters. Because it does. Step 5. Add daily energy boosters. Cutting drains is half of the habit. The other half is fueling yourself intentionally. Energy boosters include morning light, hydration, movement, deep breathing, clean spaces, nature, silence, healthy conversations, learning, small wins, breathing fresh air, listening to inspiring content, going to bed earlier. When you add boosters and remove drains, your entire life begins to feel lighter, calmer, clearer, and more manageable. This is not self-help. This is energy architecture, restructuring your life so your mind can function at its best. Why this habit rewires your mindset? Because your energy shapes your patience, your focus, your discipline, your confidence, your attitude, your productivity, your emotional intelligence, your ability to handle stress, your decision-making, your resilience. High energy unlocks a stronger, more capable version of you. Low energy traps you in cycles you know you're capable of rising above, but can't escape because you're depleted. When you cut what drains your energy, you reclaim your power. Your clarity returns. Your discipline strengthens. Your self-worth rises. Your mindset shifts from survival to strength. You stop letting life happen to you. You start designing it. Identity shift. Who you become with this habit. You become someone who values their time and energy. Someone who chooses alignment over obligation. Someone who protects their peace instead of sacrificing it. Someone who surrounds themselves with people who fuel them. Someone who refuses to carry unnecessary emotional weight. Someone whose life feels lighter because their mind feels lighter. Someone who leads themselves, not someone who gets pulled around by external demands. Your identity becomes, my energy matters. I protect it with intention. And once you believe that, your entire life changes. Protect your energy. Short, strong, non-negotiable. Say it when you feel drained. Say it when you sense pressure. Say it when you're about to say yes out of guilt. Say it when your boundaries are tested. Protect your energy, always. Now that you've strengthened your energy and removed what weakens your mindset, you're ready for the final habit. The habit that binds everything together. The habit that transforms your identity more than any other. Consistency, not perfection. Chapter 10. Build consistency, not perfection. Perfection is a trap. Consistency is freedom. Most people stay stuck not because they lack talent or desire, but because they believe they need to perform perfectly in order to grow. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect routine, the perfect energy, the perfect mindset. And because perfection never comes, progress never begins. This is the final habit for a reason. Consistency is what transforms everything you've built so far into permanent identity. All the habits you've learned, intention, focus, strength, completion, creation, movement, reflection, learning, energy, protection, they only reshape your life if you repeat them. Not flawlessly, not impressively, but consistently. Before we build this final habit, we have to face the truth about the pain people carry. Most people punish themselves for inconsistency. They shame themselves for missing a day. They quit the moment they slip. They collapse when life interrupts. They treat growth as an all-or-nothing event, as if missing once means they've failed forever. And here's the painful reality. Perfection destroys more dreams than failure ever will. Perfection kills momentum. Perfection kills confidence. Perfection kills discipline. Perfection kills joy. Perfection kills identity. You don't need to be perfect to win. You only need to come back. This is the truth most people never realize until it's too late. Consistency is far more important than intensity, motivation, talent, or timing. Consistency means showing up even when it's not convenient. Consistency means doing a smaller version on hard days. Consistency means being flexible, not fragile. Consistency means staying connected to the habit, even in its simplest form. Consistency means forward movement, even 1 inch at a time. You don't need 100% days. You need enough days. You need repeatable days. You need days that build identity, not perfection. Let's break this habit into a system that makes consistency achievable, sustainable, and powerful. Step 1. Focus on the minimum version, not the perfect version. The minimum version is the simplest expression of the habit you can complete even on your worst day. For example, 1 minute of movement, 1 page of reading, 1 sentence of journaling, 1 intentional breath, 1 clutter-free action, 1 thought caught and reframed, 1 small uncomfortable step, 1 focused block of 5 minutes. When you lower the entry point, you remove resistance. When you remove resistance, you remove excuses. When you remove excuses, you build momentum. Your brain doesn't need perfection. Your brain needs connection, a signal that says, we're still doing this. The minimum version keeps the habit alive. Step 2. Stop the all-or-nothing thinking. This thinking destroys progress more than anything else. If I can't do it fully, I won't do it at all. If I missed 1 day, I failed. If I'm inconsistent this week, I should stop. If I didn't start perfectly, I shouldn't start. These beliefs are psychological traps created by fear. Growth is not all or nothing. It's something or nothing, and something will always outperform nothing. The most powerful people in the world are not perfect. They are persistent. Let your new rule be simple. never zero. A small version beats a skipped day every time. Step 3. Create a 2-day rule. The 2-day rule is simple, powerful, and nearly foolproof. You're allowed to miss one day, never 2 in a row. Miss one day? Fine. Move on. Come back tomorrow. Miss 2 days in a row. The habit begins to die. Momentum breaks. Identity weakens. The 2-day rule protects your progress without demanding perfection. It keeps your habits alive without overwhelming your schedule. It gives you flexibility without sacrificing discipline. This rule alone can transform your consistency for life. Step 4. Track consistency, not performance. Most people track the wrong thing. They track results, they track intensity, they track outcomes. But results come later. Performance fluctuates. Outcomes are unpredictable. What matters most, the only thing that rewires your identity, is whether you showed up. Use a simple tracker, a calendar, a notes app, a habit app, a checkmark journal. Mark the days you showed up, no matter the size. The visual proof builds confidence. The streak builds momentum. The identity builds itself. This is not about productivity. This is about proof. When your brain sees the pattern, it begins to believe, this is who we are now. Step 5. Forgive quickly. Restart immediately. Guilt is the enemy of consistency. Shame is the enemy of growth. Self-criticism kills progress faster than failure ever will. You will miss days. You will slip. You will fall behind. You will have bad weeks. You will lose momentum sometimes. That's life. That's being human. That's normal. The problem is not missing. The problem is quitting because you missed. So forgive yourself fast. No drama, no self-punishment, no spiraling. Your new rule: restart immediately. Restarting is a superpower. Restarting builds resilience. Restarting builds identity. Restarting builds strength. Consistency is not about never falling. Consistency is about always returning. Why this habit rewires your mindset? Because consistency redefines who you believe you are. It rebuilds your identity from the ground up. Every time you show up, especially on days you don't feel like it, you teach your brain, I keep going. I don't disappear. I don't need perfection. I finish what I start. I can trust myself. I am disciplined. I'm becoming stronger. This identity becomes your new baseline, and once identity changes, behavior follows effortlessly. Consistency also rewires your brain through repetition, neural reinforcement, emotional stability, reduced decision fatigue, strengthened self-trust, increased motivation, lower resistance. Predictable progress. Consistency is mental architecture. It builds the life you want through small, repeated signals. Perfection builds nothing. Consistency builds everything. Identity shift: who you become with this habit. You become someone unshakable, someone who doesn't rely on motivation, someone who doesn't quit over minor setbacks, someone who adapts, adjusts, and continues, someone who moves forward even through chaos, someone who doesn't wait for perfect. They work with what they have. Someone whose habits become part of their identity. You become someone reliable to yourself, and that is the most powerful identity any human can carry. Do it daily. Not perfectly, not impressively, not dramatically, just daily. Do it daily to become the person you want to be. Do it daily to build the mind you want to have. Do it daily until consistency becomes effortless. You have learned 10 habits, 10 anchors, 10 tools that can reshape your inner world on a level most people never experience. But a journey like this deserves closure, integration, and a final message that ties it all together. When you're ready for the final part of this audiobook, you've reached the end of this journey. But the truth is, this is only the beginning. You didn't listen to this audiobook just to feel inspired for a moment. You came here because something inside you was ready for change. Something inside you wanted more clarity, more discipline, more peace, more strength, more power over your own mind. Something inside you was done with cycles that no longer serve you. Now you have the tools. 10 habits, 10 levers, 10 anchors for a stronger life. Each habit alone can shift the direction of your mind. Combined, they can reshape your entire identity. But before you step into the next chapter of your life, there is one final truth you must hear. Clearly, directly, deeply. Nothing changes unless you begin, and everything changes once you do. Transformation doesn't happen in massive, dramatic moments. It happens in quiet choices, in consistent actions, in the small decisions you make every morning, in the habits you repeat when no one is watching, in the standards you set for yourself, in the discipline you build when it's inconvenient. Your life does not rise because you want it to. It rises because you choose to build it. Every day, you're training your mind with intention, with awareness, with discipline, with clarity, with presence. And those daily trainings, those tiny repetitions, are enough to reshape the way you think, the way you feel, the way you respond, the way you show up in the world. Remember the moments in your life when you felt strong, clear, and capable. Those moments did not come from luck. They came from alignment. And alignment is something you can create. Today, tomorrow, every day after. The habits you've learned here are more than routines. They are identity tools. They teach your mind who you are becoming. When you start your morning with intention, you tell your brain you lead your life. When you protect your focus, you tell your brain you direct your attention. When you do one hard thing, you tell your brain discomfort is growth. When you finish what you start, you teach your brain commitment. When you create more than you consume, you teach your brain contribution. When you move daily, you teach your brain energy. When you journal, you teach your brain clarity. When you learn daily, you teach your brain expansion. When you cut drains, you teach your brain self-respect. And when you stay consistent, you teach your brain identity. This is how transformation happens. Not from wishing, but from wiring. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not broken. You are not stuck. You are simply early in the process of becoming someone new. And that is the most powerful place you can be. Before you leave this audiobook, take a breath, a real one. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your mind settle. Feel your energy return to you. Feel the truth settle inside your chest. You're capable of far more than the life you've been tolerating. These habits are not about perfection. They're about alignment. They're about building the life you were meant to live, one deliberate action at a time. But here is the final reminder you must remember. Transformation is not a single moment. It is a choice you make repeatedly. There will be days you feel strong. There will be days you feel weak. There will be days you move quickly. There will be days you crawl. But if you keep going, even slowly, you will become unstoppable. Do not underestimate what your life can become in 1 year of consistent, aligned effort. Do not underestimate what your mind can become with daily intention. Do not underestimate what your identity can become when you keep your promises to yourself. You have everything you need. You have the tools. You have the clarity. You have the path. And now, you have the responsibility. Take one habit. Practice it today, then tomorrow, then the next day. You don't need to master all 10 at once. Start with one, then build, then expand. Your new life does not start when you feel ready. It starts when you begin. Beginning always happens in a single moment, like this one. This is your reminder. You're not a passive character in your story. You are the author, and you can rewrite everything. The next chapter of your life has not been written yet. but your habits will decide what it looks like. Step forward with intention. Step forward with clarity. Step forward with strength. Your new mindset begins now, and it begins with you.